On the primary markets, then, solar cell manufacturer Premier Energy's 2,830 crore rupee IPO has opened for subscription today. The IPO will close on August 29th. Well, the first guest on our show is Mr. Chiranjeev Singh Saluja, the managing director of the company. Hi, sir. Good morning. Welcome to the studio and welcome to the markets. You know, you've been running this business for a while, but now you're going to be listed, so we'll be interacting more often as well. Give us a broad sense, a few numbers if you could, in line with what the regulations are. What's the current order book and the potential order inflow that you're looking at for this year?
So the order book, Nigel, is about 5,900 crores. What we have, it's a kind of a robust, strong order book, which we have. This is going to be a realization cycle of 18 months.
Okay.
The order has to be executed in. And in terms of the demand which we are seeing in India and in the US market, it's very strong. And that's the reason for the expansion. The primary raise, what we are doing is a 1,291 crore raise. Out of that, about 1,000 crores is going into our Greenfield expansion. That's a 4 gigawatt solar cell and module line, which we are setting up in Hyderabad. So with this capacity expansion, we would increase our present capacity, which is 2 gigawatt cells, to about a 7 gigawatt of cells, and from 4 gigawatt of modules to 8 gigawatt of modules.
Indeed. Mr. Saluja, first of all, welcome and congratulations on the IPO as well. And I had to ask you, so you mentioned that you're going Greenfield expansion in Hyderabad, and all of your 4 facilities, if I'm correct, are located in Telangana, in that state itself. Do you plan on expanding beyond that state, or does regional concentration act as a concern as well?
So we have plans for backward integration, and we have signed an MOU with a Taiwanese company with whom we are setting up an ingot and wafer facility, which is a backward integration of solar cell. And this facility, we're looking at moving out of Hyderabad. We are looking at various zones across India where we could set up this new facility. And on geographic expansion, we are also setting up a facility in the US. There again, we have tied up with a large module manufacturer based out of US, having a 20 years of experience in module manufacturing in America. We will be setting up in a JV, a solar cell facility with them. That's where our expertise comes in.
Is there a geography that you have zeroed in on India as to where you want to expand beyond Hyderabad?
We have still not finalized. We have shortlisted about 3 locations, but we are still discussing.
All right. Mr. Saluja, last year you did around 3,100 crores of revenues around about. Now, going by the expansion that you're talking about, what is the optimal revenue potential that you can do?
So we are growing at a CAGR of about 100% year on year. That's because our capacities are doubling in 21 to 23. We almost doubled, and now 23 to going to 26 will be doubling. So we are looking at capacities doubling, and hence even the revenues because of the increase in the operational capacity.
So post this expansion, the revenue potential of the company will be roughly around 6,500 to 7,000 crores. That's the potential. We're not asking for a guidance.
Yes.
Got it. Also, how's your balance sheet looking?
So today we have seen a great turnaround in the company, because 21-22 was the year when we had just set up our large-scale cell plant. It takes about 2.5 years to set up a cell plant and about 6 to 8 months to even stabilize these lines because of the complexity of the chemicals and gases what you use. And with the lines getting operational, we have seen a significant growth in our EBITDA margins starting January 24. Our last year was good. Q1 performance also is demonstrated in the RHP, which shows a significant growth.
Mr. Saluja, for this quarter that ended in June, almost 80% of your top line came from your top 10 customers. Do you plan on bringing that number down? And also, are there more customers in the pipeline that you plan to bring on board?
So our business is such that, you have customers who are setting up power plants, and these power plants have a certain COD when they need to commission. So our concentration of the number of customers will remain around this, but every quarter the type of customer changes. Right. So depending on when their plant commissioning dates are. So it's 10 customers, but then it changes every quarter.
So you don't see it as a concentration risk?
It's not a concentration risk at all.
All right. Just getting back to the point that you were making with regard to the profitability as well, we're not asking for a guidance, but sometimes ahead of an IPO, suddenly the margins look good. And for you as well, you're moved into the mid-teens from single digits. Do you think this sort of a margin profile is sustainable?
So again, my answer to this question is that the solar cell lines, they've got stabilized, and you see the change in the margins in the last 8 to 9 months.
Yes.
And this is not because of any big change, except that the lines have got stabilized. So we feel that this will continue.
Got it. And I didn't get the point about how's your balance sheet looking. What's it? Do you have cash, debt in the books? What is it?
So we've got a 1,398 crores of gross debt. As of now, our net debt is about 980 crores. We will be taking a new debt of about 2,200 crores for this expansion, which we are doing. That's a 3,400 crore project, which is a 4 gigawatt cell and module. About 1,000 is coming from the primary and rest is debt from IREDA, which is the Indian Renewable Energy Development Agency. So on total, we are looking at our debt going, a peak debt going to about 4,000 crores by FY27.
And what is the borrowing cost of that?
So IREDA is very supportive in promoting manufacturing in India and also development. They've got very competitive rates, so it's about 9.25% is what they lend at.
And that's a peak debt level, right? 4,000 crores.
Yes.
Do you see those margin levels, though, to be sustainable, Mr. Saluja? Because in the mid-teens, there's been substantial growth in margins from 22, 23, even in this quarter as well. Do you see those levels sustained?
So we feel that there is a very, very strong demand. The demand is surpassing the supply. So our guidance is, yes, they will be sustainable, need not be as what they are today. But on a guidance basis, yes, these are here to stay. Solar industry story is coming now. It's growing aggressively. You're seeing the kind of capacity coming in. So I think this is the era for the solar industry boom to happen in India, which is really good for us because the cheapest source of energy is clean energy, and we need to have a total manufacturing supply chain in India.
All right, Mr. Saluja, final question before we let you go then. What about the competitive intensity? You know, in the space like yours, there's always that fear that a couple of large conglomerates here in India, you know, could be competing with you, which in turn could put pressure on the business. Clarify on that. And this Chinese problem, you know, are they a competition as well?
So I'll answer your first question. Yes, competition will catch up. We are happy that the industry is growing, especially because we have been in this industry for 29 years. This was started by our chairman, Sri Chiranjeev Singh Saluja, who thought at that time he had the vision that solar is going to play a very important role in the energy mix. So look at us as a company which has been in this for 30 years now, 3 decades. And we have seen all the cycles of this industry. So we are happy that the competition comes in. We are happy that the ancillary grows and the whole industry space becomes much stronger in India. In terms of China, China prices and China aggressively selling is a great advantage to India. It's not a threat. Cheap Chinese prices only means that we get solar cells into India from China and offer, you know, very competitively priced modules to Indian developers. So that Indian developers who are setting up large power plants, that market also is aggressively growing now because of softening in prices.
Now, one final question from my end, sir. I had to ask you about the utilization. What's the current utilization at your facilities? And you've also spoken about underutilization in your RHP as well, which is what I want to highlight about. Was this underutilization the utilization levels going to increase as more capacity gets added on?
So if you look at our DRHP and then the RHP, you've already seen an increase. When you set up these cell lines, the utilization is around 50-60%. Today, we are already at 80%. The peak where we can reach is about 92% on utilization.
All right, Mr. Saluja, wish you very good luck for your IPO. Thank you so much for joining in and wish to speak to you again on your listing day as well.
Thank you.
That was the management of Premier Energies, then the IPO opening for subscription today. And as of course, it's a fresh issue as well as a combination of an offer for sale. Take a short break, come up with more corporate conversations on the other side. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.